good afternoon. I want to welcome everyone to What's New in AutoCAD 2023. I hope you are all safe and well. My name is Joseph Freund, and I'm part of the tech team at Microsol Resources as an AEC application specialist. I can support and provide training or consulting for AutoCAD, Revit, Dynamo, BIM 360, the ACC, Bluebeam, V-Ray, Rhino, Grasshopper, and Rhino inside Revit. So if you have a subscription through Microsol Resources and you need tech support, or you have some consulting opportunity related to any of those programs, there's a good chance that you will connect with me. All right. So to begin today, I would just like to cover some of the subscription benefits that you would get as a subscriber to AutoCAD 2023. So when you subscribe to AutoCAD 2023, you get the full specialized tool sets that are available. So you have the core vanilla AutoCAD, but then you have all of these specialized tool sets that can improve your productivity. And those specialized tool sets include those for architecture, mechanical, MEP, electrical, map 3D, plant 3D, and raster design. Now, Autodesk, in conjunction with an outside consultant, ran some productivity studies for all of these specialized tool sets, and they found that on average, there was a productivity gain of about 63%. Definitely not a negligible amount there. So, and here's just a slide showing how those percentages are distributed across each of the specialized tool sets there. So you've got 61% productivity gain by employing the architecture tool set, 95% productivity gain for the electrical tool set, and similar for the MEP. So I think if you are a subscriber to AutoCAD and you're still using the vanilla version of AutoCAD, I highly recommend to take one of these specialized tool sets for a spin. I think you'll find that that a lot of the work that you, a lot of those trim functions and just making sure that everything is laid out on the drafting board or the model space. I think you'll find that a lot of the tools available in each of these tool sets can get you where you're going a little bit faster. All right. In addition to the specialized tool sets, you now pretty much have access to AutoCAD from anywhere. Anywhere that you have access to some piece of technology, either a mobile phone or a laptop and an internet connection. So you can now access AutoCAD from the familiar location that it's always been, the desktop, or the web app, which can be accessed through the browser. But you can also use it on your iPad or mobile device, either iPhone or Android. So all of that is nicely available to you. Now, the AutoCAD Web App, if you're not familiar with it, it is improving all the time. There are constant improvements to the web app, and then with each new release of AutoCAD, there's usually a big increase in new features available. And I'll cover one of those new features later in the presentation here. But with the AutoCAD Web App, you can edit, markup, share, and view your CAD drawings from any computer that you can log in with your Autodesk ID. Since all of the named user licenses with all of the Autodesk products allow you to access your license through your email and password. It's pretty much all of the access you need. So if you're on an unfamiliar computer and you just need to check on something, you can log in through the incognito window or the like and get access to your design files. So I just have a link here to the web app, and I just want to pull that up real quick just to show what this interface is like. I think they've really made a lot of great improvements to the web app that make it a lot closer to the desktop version than just a few years ago. So, and I really see that this is the future of AutoCAD. They're not, AutoCAD isn't saying that yet, but I think all of the development in these cloud-based tools and solutions have so many benefits of gaining that access, whether you're in the field or in the office or on vacation, you should be enjoying yourself on vacation, but sometimes in a pinch, you just need access to the right files, and so you'd be able to do that through the web app. So here's the main start screen for the web app. You have all of these different cloud storage providers that you can connect to the web app. So store your DWGs there, and then you can have the access to them in the web app. And you have this tab here for Autodesk Docs, so you can go right to that. I've got my AutoCAD 2023 project all ready to go. So let's say I wanted to just open up a file here. I'll go to my architecture folder. Let's see, I'll just scroll down here to X floor 1, open that up. It may take a little bit of time for this to load because it's all running in the cloud. It's running AutoCAD in the cloud, and it's just transferring all of that information to your browser here. So as you can see, it's loading all of the fonts included within this drawing file. But in just a quick moment, it should be finished loading. If it stalls out here, yep, here we go. All right, so we've got this is just a very simple. Looks like we're in paper space here. If I switch over to model space, you can see my plan here. Selection is very smooth. You have your properties off to the left, layers, blocks. So a lot of the same functionality that you would see on the desktop, you will also see here. Traces, these were released as a new feature last year, so that you can add markups onto the DWG without it affecting the active geometry in there. And now I will cover this later, just as a quick note, but you can now use Lisp routines within the AutoCAD Web App. So if you really like to use automation to its fullest extent within AutoCAD, and Lisp helps you do that, you can do that through the web app now. So that's a big plus there. All right, so back to the presentation here. In addition to the web app, you've got the mobile app. So if you have an iPad or iPhone or Android device, you can access your design files from here as well. So again, and pretty much anywhere you have an internet connection, you can get access to those design files. Now, as I mentioned with the AutoCAD Web App, you can connect many different cloud storage platforms into the AutoCAD Web App. So whether it's Box, Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, or whether you store all of your design files on Autodesk Docs, you can have access to those from the AutoCAD Web App. Starting in AutoCAD 2022, they allowed you to access the Autodesk Docs projects directly from the start screen in the AutoCAD desktop version. All right. And now, in addition to those benefits I just mentioned, you also have access to support and other resources that make managing all of your licenses a little bit easier. So you got technical support directly to Autodesk. Of course, if you are a customer of Microsol Resources, you'll get that free unlimited platinum troubleshooting. So that's a case where if you do contact support, you very likely will be reaching me or one of my good colleagues. In addition to tech support, you have access to the software updates. So that'll just make sure that any bugs are fixed in the latest patches or hot fixes that they've pushed out. You also have access to any Windows updates that may cause any compatibility issues between the product and the operating system. So it's always good to be fully updated and also make sure that any of your other colleagues that are in your office are on the same build and version of AutoCAD. Consistency is big there. All right, and then we have flexible term lengths. So whether you need AutoCAD for temporarily, just for a month, or whether up to 3 years, you can decide what works best for you. So that's an option for subscribers. You also have access to the administrative tools so that you can very easily manage all of these licenses from the browser. And this is a big step forward from the traditional network seats, where you had a network license server running, and the licenses will be pooled, but it required updating that license file and using just making sure that everything was properly set up there. Now with the named user licensing, it is very easy. If you have a new hire, or if someone leaves the company, you can very easily assign or unassign those licenses to any of those users, because the activation will pretty much be by their email and the password that they have set up. So no more using serial numbers or product keys to activate the software. It'll all be through their email and password. All right, and I also want to cover a little bit on how you can download the software. So if you're assigned the product, or if you are the contract manager for your account, you can access your licenses at manage.autodesk.com. That's going to be your main management portal. And then you'll go to all products and services. You'll need to find the product that you want to install and click on view downloads. And then you'll just choose the version, platform, and language that you want. And I recommend using the browser download method. I think that's it says in the website that it's the slowest, but really it's the most reliable. I think it's the best way to get all of the right information. Well, you won't have any issues with the firewall with the browser download. So I'll just go through that real quick here. So I've logged into the management portal. I'll go to all products and services, and it'll list all of the products I have access to. And then to get to the AutoCAD, I'll go through the AEC collection here. So I'll click on View Items off to the right. It'll list all of the products available in this collection. If you have just AutoCAD including specialized tool sets, you would only see that listed, and then all of these AutoCAD verticals right here. So once you get to the right point, say you want to install AutoCAD architecture, you can click on this to expand this out, and then you've got the View Downloads button at the end. That'll open up a little pop-up window within your browser, and then you can select that version, platform, and language right here. And then if it is showing install now or download now, I do recommend changing that to browser download. The only thing you'll need to make sure is that pop-ups are enabled. So you may need to go to the little padlock or go to the site settings and just make sure that pop-ups are enabled, because it's likely going to download multiple files for your installation. Not as common with the AutoCAD products, but definitely for some of the other Autodesk products like Revit that need to download in multiple files because the installation is so large. So that's a quick intro to that there. And just as a reminder, you've probably noticed that the all of the icons for the Autodesk products have been updated. They're a little more familiar to the icons that you'll see from Microsoft Office or the Adobe Creative Suite, but they've really kind of flattened out the icons and the branding. But I think it works well, showing the you've got the familiar A there, but then depending on which flavor of AutoCAD you have, it'll say either CAD or ARC or MEP, and that'll help you to recognize that from your taskbar. All right. Now on to some of the recent features that have been released in the last few years. So if you're coming from an older version of AutoCAD, say either 2014 up to 2017 or so, and you're looking to make that upgrade to 2023, these are some of the features that I won't really cover in too much detail today, but I just want to cover as this is what you'll be getting as part of that upgrade if you go right to 2023. So some of them, as I mentioned, the trace feature within the AutoCAD Web App has been an enhancement for 2023, and I'll cover that in a little bit. You've got the count feature, so you can get a count of all your blocks or objects within your drawing file. So that's a great way to just get some quick quantities of what you have in your drawing. You've got a bunch of different features here. Drawing history and XREF compare, so that you can compare two different versions of either the same file or two different versions of an XREF that has been updated. So when you go to reload it, you can then compare the new reloaded version to the previous one that was in there. And that's really helpful for just making sure that you're fully aware of all of the changes that are going to pop up once you click reload. All right. And then you've got every year there's a little more integration between the cloud platforms, so Autodesk Docs and AutoCAD, as everything is slowly migrating to the cloud. So you had that push to Autodesk Docs feature so that you could publish PDFs right to the cloud, and you don't need to save them locally and then upload them separately. So all good features there. If you want to get a full breakdown of all of these new features from 2017 on, you can check out, and I think this will be copied into the chat box, but we have some blog articles that will link directly to our previous recordings that are up on YouTube. So we've got each one of those years from 2017 all the way up to now 2023. And again, this one will be recorded, and you'll find this up on our YouTube channel. All right, now on to the real meat of this presentation, the top new features of AutoCAD 2023. Now, there are more features than this that I'll get to, but I think that some of these features have the potential to be some of the top new favorites. This is my this is my opinion, but I've been working with these for a while, and there could be some improvements in these features, and there may be in upcoming hot fixes and patches. But yeah, we'll see here. So I'll start off with the macro advisor here. So that's part of the My Insights tab that you'll find within AutoCAD 2023. And this taps into machine learning and all of the commands that you may use as a named user. And so AutoCAD will pick up on a lot of the commands that you use over and over, and will provide some recommendations. You also have a markup import and assist, so that you can bring those markups directly into the drawing file. I'll cover that a little bit later too. An improvement to the M leader command, so that you can convert a piece of M text directly into an M leader, multi-leader. And so that takes out one less step. So if you're doing a lot of these things over and over, if you can combine those four actions into one, all the better. And then a much called for feature, the sheet set manager for Autodesk Docs. And I'll cover a little bit more about that. So a little bit more about the macro advisor. Here's what it looks like. There'll be a dedicated command macros palette. Yeah, based on your uses, your usage, and the type of commands that you may use over and over in the same series. So if you have, if you're running the same commands, I remember there was one where it was, copy rotate, because every time you would copy something to a new location, you'd also have to rotate it. So to kind of to sandwich all of those commands into a single macro just helps to, just have that one-stop shop for all of what you need to do there. And I really think that this feature is a good way to start bringing just your regular users more into the automation world, where we are using AutoCAD after all by Autodesk, so best to tap into these automation features. So if you're not yet familiar with using command macros, I'll go over a little bit of how we can use that new enhancement to the multi-leader, where we're able to convert the M text to a multi-leader to create a new command macro that can be available up in your ribbon. So I'll go over that a little bit. And so, yeah, I think this is going to be a good one to just give you a little bit of a taste, kind of plants the seed of automation in the typical user's mind, and so you can take it from there. You can then start to learn and build how these command macros are put together. Now, before I go to the markup and assist, let me just Alt Tab over here to AutoCAD so that we can actually go through that macro assistant. So the macro assistant is part of, or the macro advisor rather, is part of the My Insights. So this is connected to your username, your Autodesk ID. So you can see that I'm signed in here. So that's how my data and usage is connected to Autodesk, and then they're able to use that data to then offer me the end user any sort of tooltips or ways that I can improve my workflows. So this is just the quick look at one of the features that it's recommending here. But if you don't see it here, you'll also see it within a new drawing file. So let me just open up a new drawing here. I'll run the command macros command, and that'll pull up this command macros palette. Now, right now, I'm not getting any insights, actually probably because I've saved these two insights that it offered up previously. I should have just saved one so that I could show you how to save it, but it's pretty easy. It'll list it off here, right click, save that here, and then it'll show up within your command macros palette under the saved tab. So when you do need to make use of those commands, you can have them readily available there. But like I said before, this is really just an introduction to much more that would be available within the command user interface, the CUI command that you would run. So this is where you can really tap into much more automation. And I had created a new command macro. Just trying to think of what the name was. I think it was it was mtext to ml. So this is the new command that I created here. So if I just select that here, I did a quick search under the command list here, and here you can see the command macro for utilizing that converter from an mtext to a multi-leader, because it will be first running the command and then choosing this to select mtext. So that's where that is. Once we get to the that new feature, I'll cover that real quick. But I do recommend, if you haven't checked out the CUI and how you can customize your interface and workspace, I definitely recommend it. All right, so I'll close that out. Back to the presentation. Now on to the Markup Import and Markup Assist. Now this is a pretty neat feature, so that you can have everything right in your peripheral view, and you don't need to have a set of printed out markups on your tabletop, and then multiple screens up. You can just have your markups directly overlaid over your drawing file. So let me just Alt Tab back here to AutoCAD. I'm just going to close the command macros palette here, and I'm going to open up a drawing file that I have up on Autodesk Docs. So, and this was a new feature back in 2022 where you can have access to the Autodesk Docs projects here. So I've got my AutoCAD 2023 project. This is just loading up my folders in here, and I want to open up the Villa project. So let me just click on that. It'll make sure that I'm downloading the latest and greatest of this file. before it goes to open it, but it should hopefully go through here. I think all of the Zoom traffic is probably eating up more bandwidth than I'm used to here. So here we go. We got our Villa project DWG file. Probably recognize this from either past recordings or other AutoCAD demos here. Yeah, I've got this file here. All right, I'll just ignore that for now. But I've got pretty much everything set up in model space. I've got a few different layouts here, first floor, second floor plan. I'll just go directly from model space. And then I'll go to, it'll be within the Collaborate tab up top in the ribbon. And if I click on the Markup Import tool, I can then select a file that has the markups that I want to import. And you can import a PDF or a JPEG or a PNG. In this case, I want to import a JPEG because it's not all the time that you'll have a vectorized PDF that has the markups. Sometimes it'll be the project manager or whoever is doing the redlining on the check set. They'll be likely printing out an 11 by 17, marking it up in red, and then scanning it and sending it over to whoever's going to be picking those up. So if you do that here, I'm simulating a rasterized image with the JPEG here. So I've got the first floor plan. So it was the published version of this first floor plan layout that I'm going to import. And if I just open that, it's going to use machine learning. I don't know all of the specifics of how it taps into that, but good way to find exactly where that scan of that has the markups, where that applies on this this drawing file here. So it's found the location and it's pulled up this this trace environment here. So I can go to the gear in the left-hand side of this, and I can work with the transparency between my drawing file and the imported markup file. So let's just go to 50/50 here. You can also toggle this on and off so that you can see exactly where this is going to be placed once it's in the right location. And from all my testing, it's been pretty good. It's found the right location and placed that and scaled it properly. I'll just go ahead and say accept here. And now if I zoom in here, you can see that I've got my markups. It's clear that it was a rasterized drawing. You can see a little bit of pixelation there. But even if it is a little pixelated, it's done pretty well to recognize what is a revision cloud or a piece of MText or some call out. And each of those entities, whether it's revision cloud, MText, or call out, or multi-leader rather, you can convert those into trace geometry so that it's not just an image that's been elegantly imported into your AutoCAD drawing. It's CAD that you can edit accordingly. So as you'll see up top here, it's got the trace. I added this trace, so it's got my little icon there for my Autodesk ID. But you can have multiple people adding traces to these files and be able to manage them in that way. If I click on this button here, it'll toggle whether I'm editing the trace or just viewing the trace. So I'm just viewing the trace right now. So if I click on this button, you'll see that these little blue boxes are going to show around each of the markup entities that it finds within the file here. And so let's just go right into here. And I'm just going to select this revision cloud. And with that selection, it's now going to intelligently recognize what sort of object that is. And what I can do here is just select insert as rev cloud. and you might not be able to see it, but I can select it here. It's now created a revision cloud more or less around that same space, and it's now been placed on that trace layer. Now I can do the same with some of this text. So if I click on the text, you can see how the text is previewed here. So if it gets it wrong, if it thinks an E is actually an A, you can make that change before actually converting it into an M liter, multi-liter, or a piece of M text. So let's just insert this as a multi-liter, and then you'll need to specify the insertion point, and then you can run that liter across. Now you may need to change the formatting of the annotation there, but you can see how that neatly converted the scanned markup to your multi-liter there. So you can go through and do this for all of those, but you can also just have this image as an imported piece of markup here. So go ahead and commit that. And yeah, for some reason it's and this might be a bug, but some of this trace still remains on the layer 0, and it may just need to be moved around. Or I'm going to submit that as a what's actually going on here. But neat way to check out those traces. But you can also check out the traces palette here. Let's actually open that from here. Not sure where that is. I thought I had it docked off to one side, but it's not showing here. I'm going to just chalk that up to, oh, here it is. It was collapsed in my other screen. So here it is. Now that I've added that that imported markups there, it's now part of this trace 1, and I can go ahead and rename this to markups from Jim, something like that, and maybe even give it a date, but it's going to have a date fixed onto there. And then if you need to add additional traces, you can add them in directly from the desktop, and that's another new feature of 2023. I think my time is starting to get away from me here, so I'll continue on to the next one here. So we've got this M text to M liter enhancement. So if you run the M liter command, you would just choose select M text, and then you'd be able to select any M text and then run that liter wherever you need it to go. So let me just check the box there to get out of trace. Move that trace palette out of the way. And let me just find some bit of M text. I think this is, now there's no good reason that I would want to convert this to M multi-liter, but I'm just going to do so for demonstration purposes. So I'll run the M liter command, and then down below, you have this new option to select M text. Go ahead and click that, select the M text, and then you next thing that you do is just run that liter, and you're good to go. So a very quick way to run that command. As I mentioned before, I created that mtxt to ml command up here, and I put that within a new tab up top. So if I was to just run this command, it would take me right to the point where I was just selecting the M text, so I don't have to put another keystroke. So I can just directly change that. So that's a nice way to automate that. All right. Moving onward, we also have the sheet set manager for Autodesk Docs. So if you have your design files stored up on Autodesk Docs, you can manage the sheet sets with the dedicated sheet set manager for web. Now, for those that really use the I guess legacy sheet set manager to its fullest, I think you'll find that there's some things to be desired with this sheet set manager for web, but I think it'll really help for those just being able to manage a small set of drawings I do recommend that before really diving into fully using the sheet set manager for Autodesk Docs on every project that your firm has, to just do a quick test and make sure that it's all working to the extent that you're going to be trying to tap into the features there. Yeah, if I go back to AutoCAD here, I'll just I'll run the sheet set command to pull up the sheet set manager. And now if I go to open one of these previously saved sheet sets, and this is one that's up on Autodesk Docs. So it's then going to switch from the legacy sheet set manager to now the sheet set manager for web that you can see right here. So I've got my full sheet set here. You have up at the top, it says not in use. That just means that nobody is currently editing this sheet set on Autodesk Docs, because yeah, you can have multiple collaborators there. But if I did want to edit this sheet set, I would just click edit. And then I can start making changes to either individual sheets. So if you see, if I select that sheet, you can change the sheet title, sheet number, description, toggle this include for publish. Similar to the non-plot layer, you can have certain sheets within your sheet set that are not going to publish. And then it has, where it expects to find that layout within the project under project files, architecture 2880. And then you can add the revision number, revision date, purpose, and category, but no ability to create any sort of custom properties like you would in the legacy sheet set manager. Now, if I right click any one of these sheets, I can open that. That's a familiar feature, rename and renumber directly there, remove it, publish that single sheet to a PDF, or I can e-transmit that single sheet. I could do it with a full set by just coming up here and e-transmitting from here, or publishing the whole set from here. And then we've got some additional features and enhancements for 2023. As I mentioned, you've got that My Insights tab at the Start tab. So as you use AutoCAD more and more, you're just going to have better and better recommendations coming from the My Insights tab. You also have the Lisp API for the AutoCAD Web App that I mentioned, so you can use those Lisp routines from directly in the browser. Some of these others, you've got extend vertex, add a vertex to the end of a polyline. I can just demonstrate that real quick here. Let me just close out of the sheet set manager there. I'll just create a quick polyline here, but I'll keep it open. So if I was to hover over the grip point at the start point and say add vertex, okay, it's not really allowing me to add it where I want it to, and that's why the extend vertex is going to allow you to close up a polyline if you need it to. So I'll just hover over that again, extend vertex, and then I can go ahead and close that up. So that'll be an option for these polylines now, which should be helpful. You also have graphics improvements. There's more compatibility with modern GPUs and multi-core CPUs. So generally performance should be a little bit better in 2023. As I mentioned before, you've got trace on the desktop now. That markup import and markup assist is part of it taps into the trace functionality. So that's all kind of packaged together and included. You also have the count enhancement, where you can get quantities from within a boundary. And I'll just show that real quick here. So that'll be count of either intelligent architecture or engineering objects that are in your drawing, or blocks. So let's say I wanted to count, let's just run the count command here. I can count either the current area or the entire model space, or I can count within an object here. Should also be able to pull up the count. Let's do. Oops, sorry. So let's do the polygonal count here, so I can just run a polyline in this area. And when I'm ready, click enter, and then I can select these target objects in there. And then it should give me, no, it should have given me some sort of count on those blocks. I guess those must not be blocks there, but yeah, we've got those parts. Okay, so I'm not sure why that didn't go through, but it's showing properly now. So you've got these, specified boundaries that you can run those counts, and then directly from that you can then create a table. So I can go ahead and select any or all of the objects that are within that selection. Go ahead and press insert, and then you'd be able to insert that table. I mean, I don't have the table style set up, but you can see how that'll show with the field right there. So as that number increases, it would automatically adapt. All right, so that's the count enhancement there. And finally, the last new feature is the cut base. So this is the exact same as the copy base, but instead of copying, you're cutting this time. So you're able to, it's very good if you're cutting from one DWG and you'll be taking that to another one. So great, great improvement there. Should have probably been rolled out with copy base, but I guess waited till 2023 for it. So yeah, that's all of the latest features there in AutoCAD 2023. Just a quick review, but there's more online that you can find on Autodesk's website. And I just want to do a quick review of everything that we covered today. We covered everything that all of the productivity gains that you can have by utilizing the specialized tool sets. You can have access to AutoCAD from anywhere, whether that's from your mobile device, your desktop, or from the browser. You can connect all kinds of cloud storage programs to the AutoCAD Web App, or directly to Autodesk Docs from AutoCAD 2023 desktop version. In addition, you've got that technical support, access to software updates, flexible term lengths from 1 month to 3 years. And then you have those neat administrative tools that make managing all of your licenses so much easier. All right, and just a quick summary of all of the features that we covered today. I'm not going to list all of them out, but feel free to take a screenshot and dive in and try them all for yourself.